lineup for Syracuse, and that is a huge deal as a massive addition in the offseason, Tyler, for Syracuse.
Especially given the fact that he hasn't played these last 2 games. Syracuse could have used him against Army. Let's see if they can use him today.
They'll use him on the wings to start, where Mason Kohn, another one of the big-time additions in the offseason from Tufts, wins the opening draw and takes a huge shot as the Fogo loses the ball, and we're underway from the dome.
Well, that's what he provides.
On High Point, Isaiah Moran Weeks also played, and that's what those guys can do right in front of cage when it gets chaotic, finishing those tight spaces. 5th straight game in which Syracuse has scored the opening goal. But SU has lost 2 of its last 3 games. Overtime defeats against top 5 foes Maryland and Army. And Tyler, that Maryland game you were here for, Syracuse women's lacrosse takes on Stony Brook. He is the head coach. 2-0 Syracuse, though, in a men's lacrosse battle. Face-off won by the freshman Johnny Mullen. Make it, take it lacrosse for the Cuse.
And it's funny, Mullen wanted to be like Kohn. He looked at the sideline, pointed at, hey, me.
A.J. Pilot, Army's best long pole. Maybe not getting topside dodging from X, but Spallina taking advantage of the opportunity. Another opportunity for the Orange offense. Back-to-back draws won by Mullen. SU a 3-1 advantage at the block. I don't blame the officials because the ball gets in and out of his stick so quickly. It's almost like there's lava on the ball. Just like, get it out.
Hot potato.
Good to see Jake doing his thing for the Orange. He had missed the previous 2 games with an upper body injury. He had the assist as Burtwistle with his 4th goal in the last 2 games. That is first.
But to be fair, Posen was ranked as the best short stick defensive fielder in the country just 2 years ago. That's quite the talented player to have a mismatch against, but that's Syracuse lacrosse.
Michael Leo, a top 40 recruit last year. The long pole, player in the world.
I mean, he was the best player in the world at one point, so that's not too shocking to hear.
In the world, that is true. Won the Tewaaraton with Maryland. Wore number 1, which is the Syracuse equivalent of number 22. 6'4", because he was credited for the assist on that quick stick finish from UA. Mullen takes that face-off for Syracuse, but High Point wins the battle. Thanks to their face-off man, came only 2 shots on goal through the first quarter, but one of them drops. Van Overbeek did not play in the Cleveland State game, was questionable alongside fellow first-line attackman Braden Maea for this one. But one of them gets on the board. Face-off win to end the first quarter. Doesn't lead to anything for High Point.
Powell, he comes to mind as a 4-time All-American. I mean, if you're not a multi-time All-American as a number 22, then, like, it's a problem. That's how important that number is. That's the level of expectation you have on you.
I just remember when Joey Spallina was still a recruit, the number 1 recruit in the country coming out of Mount Sinai High School on Long Island. There was the question, is he going to get the number 22? That was like almost the first big act of Gary Gates' head coaching career. Yes, he is going to wear the number 22.
I mean, if you had to give those in almost 20 minutes of play, but these are the type of opportunities, a 1-minute unreleasable for the opponent's best defender that you have to take advantage of.
First extra man chance for either team today. A violation on the face-off between Hoben and Mullen. And the grad student, Hoben.
In fact, I'd say he looks like the core of the offense rather than Braden Maea. Of course, both are phenomenal players, but he's had that extra gear today.
Van Overbeek is more of the ex-player, so we talked about him a bit more. He does lead the team in assists. High Point wins the draw. It looked a little too easy for the attack spots with this Syracuse defense. A big hit on the wing, and High Point comes up with the face-off. No flag flew. Strong effort from the high point wings. Collin Hoben got the ground ball. And another PM plus. Back to the X though, because before the Orange can think about Hopkins, they got to pull out a win against High Point. And it's all Panthers right now in terms of momentum. A face-off violation for the Orange. Their first of the game.
Especially with penalties. Not a single penalty on the day. Syracuse, one of the last teams in the country you want to put on the extra man. And Syracuse hasn't played a man up today. So that's been big for High Point. But with Michael Leo moving like that, you might as well have an extra player on the field. That's what it feels like.
Mason Kohn hasn't been at his best today, but he wins this draw pretty easily. Now 4 for, but Van Overbeek, an extremely well-rounded attackman. All right now, we talked a lot about Braden Maia in the pregame, but Van Overbeek, an extremely well-rounded attackman. Ball pops up high in the air, straight into the cross of Collin Hoben. Make it trapped. Syracuse, Johnny Mullen and Sammy English trying to poke the ball free. A team effort from High Point to keep it on their end of the field. Some Alexo, Jack Van Overbeek, the #2 team in the country at scooping up ground balls. And right there, that's a right into a goal after Syracuse was getting physical, but maybe too physical. Another face-off one. That time it wasn't Collin Hoben. Luca Accardo. Coach John Torpy said, I hope we have him in the lineup today. A little banged up. They haven't practiced much this week. I don't know, it looks like they're pretty good. Syracuse wins a much-needed face-off. Mason Kohn goes right down Broadway. Denied on a high-low shot. Another save for Overend.
Not an awful look there by Kohn, but with the frustration losing all of these face-offs in a row, I kind of had the feeling that he was going to go out there and maybe rush a shot. And he didn't necessarily rush that, but it wasn't the perfect look. It was a good look, not a great one.
Headwinder didn't beat the buzzer. That was also off a feed from Spallina, who jarred it free on the ride and gave his team a last-ditch opportunity. Spallina up to 6 points with his second assist. And Johnny Mullen wins it to himself with ease. It's been pretty much a 50-50 battle at the circle today. And that's why High Point is
on these big tears, but he has been the most consistent player at SU over these past 2 seasons. But when he does go on these bursts, it's certainly welcome.
The Orange have gone on a burst at the X. Another win on the wings. Johnny Mullen picked up the ground ball. It's going to be under the microscope. Whatever you're looking at today, it looks pretty good. 5 goals for Spallina, that ties a career high. Jake Stevens getting bombed, but he makes his way to cage. Behind the back flip, that is insane. That is number 22. Put that one under a microscope.
Joey Spallina with a beautiful finish, but even more impressive maybe by Jake Stevens. The swim dodge, getting mauled by 2 different defenders there, third. But Joey Spallina nails another goal. Like you said, he's 22.
After one of the worst games of his career, he expects this, and people should expect it from him, but he got amped after that one. Johnny Mullen, another one!
All that pent-up anger, all that frustration from a huge High Point run over the last 2 quarters. It is being thrown back at the Panthers right now. A huge run coming from Owen Hiltz to Joey Spallina. And now even face-off specialist John Mullen getting involved.
Getting involved for the first time in his Orange career. The goal scorer. You said earlier today he wants to be Mason Kohn, right? Doing all that goal scoring. This Syracuse run. LSU has now outscored High Point by 4 goals in this third quarter. A 6-goal run from the Cuse. And 5 goals. I'm going to let off the Panthers. And there's one more. Johnny Mullen, proving he's more than just a number 2 option at the Faceoff X. But maybe gets a little too carried away as he oversails Christian Mullen behind cage.
I mean, he never claimed to be a great passer. We saw he can shoot. We've seen that he can dominate at X. But passing, maybe you'll have to wait here on that one.
Number 7 Orange team that is clicking on all cylinders in this third quarter. Braden Maia, he's had a couple highlight reel moments. His 2 goals were both sensational scores, an underhanded flip and a no-look score. But outside of those 2, just 2 other goal scorers for High Point.
So yeah, that's a total of 4 for the Panthers. The Orange people that found back to the net. Depth is just such a big difference.
Syracuse has found a way at the X, though, and it's made the job for Coach John Torpy's crew much more difficult. It's going to be Johnny Mullen. 8 for 13 now, 9 for 14, and he goes down swinging. That's the end of 3.
And it's taking all those opportunities. You know why that happened? Well, it's because Syracuse won 11 of 14 faceoffs in the third period.
They don't win the first faceoff to start the fourth quarter, and the momentum and the run back in the possession of High Point. Jack Sawyer with the score. Right off the faceoff win, that's back-to-back the Panthers going back to the last frame.
I said it earlier when he picked up a nice assist, but Jack Sawyer making the most of his first start of the year, just pinged it.
And it all started with Collin Hoben at the X. Sawyer, his 5th strike on the season. Hoben and Mullen this time around. Mullen has had a career day. 9 faceoff wins, and that's number 10, adding on to a career high for the top 100 recruit out of Massachusetts. In the preseason, yes, Mason Kohn was getting a lot of buzz, but if you were talking to head coach Gary Gait, you were hearing Johnny Mullen's name a lot, and this is why.
He was advertised as truly an option Syracuse could go to, and that's how they've used him. He is a true option and not just a backup.
You mentioned last year at times it got a bit. Well, that rule was certainly examined after the Maryland game. Not necessarily the same rule, but just the rule book in general. Syracuse has found itself in interesting spots all year in terms of things going their way, not going their way. Catches a little bit of a break. Overend did as about as good a job of saving a shot as you can without actually saving it. The ball got so deep in the netting of his stick that it just ricocheted out and past his shoulder and in to the net.
Yeah, he looked down at it afterwards. He thought it was in there.
For his players, because he is one of the best bowlers, he says, on this team. Apparently somebody on High Point bowled 180. He did not remember who. Maybe it was Maia.
It's very possible. He seems to be good at wherever.
This is the game that Syracuse wanted ultimately. A chance for a mental reset after an unbelievably frustrating loss to Army on Wednesday, and a chance to do right by their seniors. And it didn't look pretty at times. Syracuse opens the game up with a 7-0 scoring run. High Point scores 8 of the next 10 goals to draw within one in
one direction or the other.
You're bringing in a lot of different sports.
We've talked bowling,
soccer,
lacrosse, basketball. We talked about Furman basketball earlier.
Unintentionally.
Unintentionally. I haven't gotten to bring up one of the facts that Robbie Lang, a key defender on the Panthers team, was a big golfer.